Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the news at 6 where we get you the day's top developing stories. I'm Tracy Shilshi and let's start this half an hour with the headlines. American NSA HR McMaster meets Prime Minister Narendra Modi and holds talks with his counterpart Ajit Doval, reaffirms India's designation as a major defence partner. Is there a patch-up on the cards for warring factions of the AIDMK? Ruling Amma section announces team to hold talks with O Pannirselvam camp. UK acts on India's extradition request on Vijay Mallya. The businessman gets bail after he is arrested in London by Scotland Yard. British Prime Minister Theresa May announces snap poll, says the country needs a strong government to push ahead with Brexit talks with the European Union. And US President Donald Trump to sign an executive order to recommend changes to his country's visa policies, order to target H-1B visa program. Let's start with Tamil Nadu, where the two warring factions of AIDMK party held talks of a merger today. Leaders from both the sides held informal meetings to discuss the merger formula. The talks hit a roadblock, though, with the O Pannirselvam camp demanding Sasikala and TTV Dinakaran's exit from the party. However, both sides are not losing hope, as the unification seems to be their only chance to redeem the coveted two leaves symbol.
A patch-up appeared to be on the cards for the warring factions of the AIADMK. The ruling AIADMK Amma faction announced it will form a team to hold talks with the Pannirselvam camp.
இது ஒரு புதிய அனுபவமாக இருக்கிறது. கப்பல்ல பயணம் செல்வது, அதுவும் குடும்பத்தோடு பயணம் செய்வது என்பது ஒரு மகிழ்ச்சியான தருணமாக இது அமைந்திருக்கிறது. எல்லோருடைய வாழ்க்கையிலும் இது ஒரு சந்திக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு வாய்ப்பு. இது எங்களுக்கு கிடைத்திருக்கிறது. அது வகையில உண்மையிலே எங்களுக்கு இந்த நேரத்தில் முதலமைச்சர் அவர்களுக்கும்
Party MLAs from both factions held informal meetings to arrive at a formula for a possible merger. The DMK MLAs met on board the INS Chennai for a day at sea, where they indicated an imminent merger between the two factions. Former Chief Minister O Pannirselvam, however, said the faction led by him will hold talks only if Sasikala and his nephew TTV Dinakaran are ousted from the party. Pannirselvam's demand comes a day after Sasikala's nephew and AIADMK Amma's General Secretary was booked for bribing an election commission official to obtain the two leaves symbol.
Sasikala and her family has to be kept away from the party. Directly or indirectly, they should not have any role within the party.
Family, the two names?
Yeah. No, not only two names, their entire family that. They should not be within the party. Two, yes, we originally demanded Amma's death has to be investigated.
The Sasikala faction has denied any rumours of Sasikala and Dinakaran stepping down. They are accusing Pannirselvam of changing his stance after talks for the merger started.
Yesterday, same press has told that Mr. OPS have got no demands to have talks. Just now, Mr. OPS is talking from the beginning. If we are going to have a talks, dialogue, any dialogue, there should be, if you are really for a dialogue, there should be something which is common to both of us. Why should they step down?
Former Chief Minister OPS only opened this. So based on that, we also together discussed and we also made sessions that we are ready to talk with the former Chief Minister. So meanwhile, some opinion given by the former Chief Minister that being again placed among all of us.
Commenting on then moves, the DMK said its poll rival in the state was only exhibiting desperation.
This government has no support from the people. But now, since they are fighting, they are going to the extent of bribing the election commission to retain the symbol in the party name. They will go to any extent to remain in power.
The merger move started on Monday when Sasikala and OPS camp met to discuss the possibilities of coming together, mainly to redeem the party's two leaves symbol that's been frozen by the Election Commission. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
All right, we'll keep you updated on that. Meanwhile, Vijay Mallya was given bail by a Metropolitan Court after he was arrested in London. The businessman faces charges of defaulting on loans worth crores in India. The centre had asked the UK in February to extradite Mallya to answer charges of money laundering and several warrants in the country. In March, the UK did tell India that its request had been certified by the Secretary of State. Last week, a Delhi court put out an open-ended, non-bailable warrant against 61-year-old Mallya for alleged violation of foreign exchange rules. Mallya left India a year ago amid attempts by a group of banks to recover around 9,000 crore rupees in loans to his collapsed Kingfisher Airlines. The central government cancelled his passport and asked the UK government to deport him. But initially, British officials said that even without an Indian passport, he could legally stay on in London as he had a UK visa. Mallya was seen at events in the UK linked to his Formula One team Sahara Force India. In a series of tweets, he accused the government of holding him guilty without a trial.
इसकी प्रक्रिया होती है, उस प्रक्रिया के तहत ही हम कार्रवाई करेंगे। मेरा मानना है कि हम किसी भी ऐसा कदम नहीं उठाएंगे जो लगे कि हम कानून के विपरीत जा रहे हैं। हम और किसी भी व्यक्ति को छोड़ेंगे नहीं जो कानून की सीमा में है, जिसने देश के साथ अपराध किया है।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार लोगों की आंख में धूल झोंकना बंद करे और देश को बताए कि विजय माल्या हमारे देश में वापस कब लेकर आएंगे और कब देशवासियों का 9,091 करोड़ रुपया वापस मिलेगा।
Nepal President Bidya Devi Bhandari today urged Indian entrepreneurs and investors to invest in her country, saying that Nepal has a favorable environment for business. Speaking at a program in New Delhi, she added that the presence of Indian investors at the recent investment summit in Nepal shows the significance India attaches to Nepal. Earlier, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj discussed bilateral ties with the visiting Nepal president. She also met Prime Minister Narendra Modi to explore ways to step up cooperation between the two countries. Bhandari, who arrived yesterday on a 5-day visit and was accorded a ceremonial welcome at Rashtrapati Bhavan, is visiting India, and in fact it's her first visit abroad after assuming office in 2015. Meanwhile, US National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster met Prime Minister Narendra Modi to review bilateral ties and the situation in the South Asian region. McMaster reaffirmed India's designation as a major defense partner and emphasized the importance of its strategic relationship. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Foreign Secretary S. Jaishankar were also present at the meeting. McMaster also held detailed discussions on Indo-US security relations with Doval. This is the first visit by a top US official to India since Donald Trump took over as president in January. The US NSA arrived last evening from Pakistan, where he met Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and some top officials. And Defence Minister Arun met his Canadian counterpart Harjeet Singh Sajjan in the capital today. Both held talks on enhancing defence and security cooperation between India and Canada. The visiting minister also paid tribute to Indian soldiers at India Gate's Amar Jawan Jyoti. Canada's India-born defence minister began his week-long India visit on Monday. He will also meet External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, among other leaders. Sajjan will also travel to Amritsar, Chandigarh and Mumbai. And now from diplomatic relations to nationwide politics, and in a big blow to the Congress, just a week ahead of the municipal polls of Delhi, party veteran and former Delhi Congress President Arvind Singh Lovely today joined the BJP. Lovely lashed out at the leadership of his former party, saying that the party is finished under them. Referring to the allegations made by the state Congress veteran A.K. Walia that tickets for MCD elections were being sold by party leaders, Arvind Singh Lovely said that nobody took notice of his grievances. One of the key ministers in the Sheila Dikshit government, Singh held important portfolios such as education, tourism, urban development and transport. Along with Lovely, Delhi Youth Congress President Amit Malik also joined the BJP after meeting party chief Amit Shah.
पॉलिटिकल अपॉर्चुनिज्म कह लीजिए, गद्दारी कह लीजिए, जो भी कह दीजिएगा आप, लेकिन इस तरह के लोग जिनको सब कुछ मिला हो वो भी चले जाएं, तो किस पर आप विश्वास कर सकते हैं, किस पर क्या कर सकते हैं? मुख्य कारण इन सब लोगों का छोड़ना, जो भी है जिन्होंने छोड़ा है, वो यही है कि उनसे ना कोई उनको पूछता है, ना उनकी कोई सुनवाई है। तो इसलिए आउट ऑफ फ्रस्ट्रेशन जिसे कहते हैं, वो फ्रस्ट्रेशन जो कॉज किया गया है.
All right, talking of frustration, this is definitely a concern. The heat, of course, across India, but bringing good cheer for the farming community. The India Meteorological Department on Tuesday said that the southwest monsoon will be normal this year. The weather department predicted good distribution of rainfall across the country, and the country will reportedly receive 96% of long period average when the monsoons arrive. But of course, the weight of that getting to be more difficult by the day as parts of India continue to reel under intense heat wave as temperatures crossed 40 degrees Celsius on Tuesday. Hot conditions prevailed in the national capital with the mercury touching 44 degrees Celsius mark in some parts of the city. The Met Department has warned of heat wave-like conditions in all districts of Telangana as well on Tuesday and Wednesday. Western Nagpur in Maharashtra also saw a temperature of 43 degrees on Monday, forcing people to stay indoors. The city will continue to witness above normal temperatures for the next 2 to 3 days.
खेती के हिसाब से जैसा 2016 रहा है, अच्छा रहा है खेती के लिए, उसी तरह का सिचुएशन 2017 में भी बन के बरकरार रहने का पूरा संभावना है. पिछले साल भी 97% की बारिश हुई थी, इस बार भी 96% प्लस माइनस 5% के हिसाब से होने की आकलन अभी किया गया है. इसकी अपडेट दिया जाएगा जून फर्स्ट वीक में.
And in other news, the latest report by the government has estimated that India's skewed sex ratio will decline further in the coming years. Quoting data from the Census and World Bank, a report titled Youth by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation said that sex ratio has been consistently decreasing since 1991. The reduction is found to be much more than that of the overall population. It has come down to 939 in 2011 from 961 in 1971 and is projected to decline further to 904 in 2021 and to 898 by 2031. The projection is based on very low sex ratio at birth in India. The number of girls born for 1,000 boys was 914 in 2011 and is projected to fall further in the coming decades. With a quick break here, we'll be back with more news in a bit. Stay with us.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari on Tuesday interacted with Indian Foreign Service trainee officers in New Delhi. He congratulated the trainee officers of 2016 batch for having chosen a service that offers a challenging and exciting career. The Vice President also said that it was both a privilege and responsibility to represent one's country in foreign land. Meanwhile, a PIL was filed in the Delhi High Court seeking response from the centre on exploring remedies through the International Court of Justice for the release of Kulbhushan Jadhav. The petition sought direction to the MEA and the MHA to approach the International Court of Justice for providing consular access to Jadhav in Pakistan. The petitioner further added that the Pakistani military had failed to provide fair trial to the Indian national. The Pakistani army has ruled out any consular access to alleged Indian spy Kulbhushan Jadhav, saying he is not eligible for it as per the laws. Jadhav was awarded the death penalty on the 10th of April in an unprecedented decision that triggered diplomatic spat between the two neighbors. And here's a look at what else is making news across the country in Nationwide. The Supreme Court on Tuesday exempted the categories of disabled persons from standing during the national anthem before screening of a film. Earlier, the Apex Court had ordered that every person has to stand during the screening of the national anthem. The court also issued a notice to the centre on the plea seeking Vande Mataram, essential for all educational institutions. Congress leader and former Delhi Minister Arvind Singh has joined the BJP on Tuesday, and like we pointed out, the Delhi chief as well, Amit Malik, too joining the BJP, both of them meeting Amit Shah today, and this comes just ahead of the MCD elections. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar on Wednesday morning took part in a foot march in Motihari to mark the anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi's Champaran Satyagraha. Briefing the media, the Chief Minister said that the foot march was organized to remember Gandhi's historic statement to a court on the 18th of April 1917, where Mahatma Gandhi gave a letter of his intention of not obeying the order to district magistrate. Top Maoist leader Narayan Shonyal passed away late on Monday night in a South Kolkata hospital. He was in his early 80s and was suffering from cancer. Shonyal was the Politburo member of the CPI Maoists at the time of his arrest in 2005 and the second most important leader after the party's National Secretary M. Lakshmana Rao. The centre has extended a ceasefire agreement with two insurgent groups in Nagaland for one more year from the 28th of April. The pact was signed between the central government and the NSCN-R and NSCN-NK. The two insurgent groups which operate in Nagaland are among several other armed groups of the state. International news: in China today defended its strategic China-Pakistan economic corridor passing through Pakistan or occupied Kashmir, saying that it has no direct link with the Kashmir issue. Commenting on India's objections over CPEC, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said that the purpose of the China-Pakistan economic corridor was to serve economic cooperation and development. Wang Yi also welcomed India to take active part in building the One Belt, One Road project, a pet initiative of Chinese President Xi Jinping. China is holding an OBOR summit to be held in Beijing from the 14th to the 15th of May. OBOR is the official name for the multi-billion-dollar Silk Road project initiated by Xi to expand China's connectivity and strategic influence in the neighborhood and across the world. Now to Australia, that will introduce stricter visa requirements for skilled workers from overseas, majority of them being Indians. The new order comes as a measure to tackle growing unemployment in the country and to give Australian workers top priority. The popular 457 visa, which allows foreigners to live and work in Australia for up to 4 years, will be replaced with a stricter scheme that requires a criminal background check that includes tougher English language requirement and job skills. Australian Prime Minister Turnbull's announcement comes days after he visited India, where a range of issues, including national security, counter-terrorism, were discussed and 6 agreements were signed.
The fact is that the migration program should only operate in our national interest. This is all about Australia's interest. This is about jobs for Australians. It's about growing the Australian economy so that Australian families can realise their dreams, that Australian businesses can invest and employ and get ahead. That's what it's all about. And so this rigorous focus, this laser-like focus on our national interest will ensure that where skill gaps arise and can't be filled by Australians, then foreign workers can come in, but not otherwise.
Well, visa worries for India in the US as well. President Donald Trump is all set to sign an executive order to enforce changes to a visa program that brings in high-skilled foreign workers. The move will tighten the process of issuing H-1B visas and seek a review of a visa system that's sought after by Indian IT firms and technicians. The White House said that the time-limited H-1B visas is undercutting American workers by bringing in cheaper labor. It has accused tech companies of using it to hire large numbers of workers and drive down wages. The order is an attempt by Trump to carry out his America First campaign to reform U.S. immigration policies and encourage purchases of American products. Meanwhile, U.S. Vice President Mike Pence reassured Japan of American commitment to defuse risks from North Korea's nuclear program. In a meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in Tokyo on Tuesday, Pence said that all options are on the table when it comes to North Korea. He assured that the U.S. will work closely with Japan and its allies in aiming for a peaceful resolution to North Korea's nuclear and missile ambitions. Pence, who was in South Korea for a day earlier, warned the reclusive North that the era of strategic patience is over. Tokyo is the second stop on Pence's 10-day tour of Asia.
We appreciate the challenging times in which the people of Japan live, with increasing provocations from across the Sea of Japan. And as the President himself would say if he was here, let me be clear. To you, Mr. Prime Minister, and to all the people of Japan, we are with you 100%.
Now to Britain, where Prime Minister Theresa May has called for early general elections in June, seeking a stronger mandate in talks over leaving the European Union. Announcing the election dates on the 8th of June, May, who has only a slim majority in the Parliament's lower house of Commons, said that the general election will end the opposition party's attempts to foil her Brexit plans. She also appealed to all parties to pass the motion that she will present to the House of Commons tomorrow to allow an early election. May took power in July last year from David Cameron, who resigned after voters narrowly approved Brexit, supporting departure from the European Union. The opposition Labour Party has welcomed the Prime Minister's decision to call for an early election.
Is the right approach, and it is in the national interest. But the other political parties oppose it. At this moment of enormous national significance, there should be unity here in Westminster. But instead, there is division. The country is coming together, but Westminster is not. Division in Westminster will risk our ability to make a success of Brexit, and it will cause damaging uncertainty and instability to the country. So we need a general election, and we need one now, because we have at this moment a one-off chance to get this done while the European Union agrees its negotiating position and before the detailed talks begin. I have only recently and reluctantly come to this conclusion.
Sri Lanka has moved over 400 families to temporary shelters after tons of rotting garbage collapsed onto a slum, killing at least 31 people. Some 145 homes were destroyed when the 300-foot rubbish mountain came crashing down in Colombo. Police say many more buildings were damaged and could collapse at any time. Hundreds of rescue workers have kept up the search for survivors. President Maithripala Sirisena has instructed authorities to ensure financial resources are not an obstacle in the relief operation. The police said that they were investigating whether the landslide was natural or man-made. Residents of the area, mostly living in shanties, had been demanding the removal of the dump, saying that it was causing health hazards.
So far, from the day that we have started all rescue operation up to now, we could recover 21 bodies. And still the search is on, and 4 people have been hospitalized with the injuries. That was the initial thing that we have recovered, and the process is still going on.
Allaying widespread criticism over a referendum granting sweeping new powers to Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, he warned the international election observers to know their place. Addressing crowds of flag-waving supporters from the steps of the presidential palace in Ankara, Erdogan said that Sunday's results had ended all debate on changing the constitution and creating an executive presidency. According to the election authorities, preliminary results showed 51.4% of voters had backed the biggest overhaul of Turkish politics since the founding of the modern republic in Sunday's referendum. Meanwhile, European monitors observed that the vote did not live up to international standards. Erdogan said that Turkey did not see, hear, nor acknowledge reports by the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, which is an observer mission.
AGİT diye bir örgüt var Avrupa'da. Şimdi bunlar kendilerine göre bir rapor hazırlıyorlar. Türkiye'deki seçimler şöyle olmuş, böyle olmuş. Önce haddinizi bilin, haddinizi.
And that's all we have for you in the news at 6. Thank you for joining us.